Who would have thought that the beginning of the Kyushu Basho 2025 would be so unpredictable, intense, and full of signs of what might come? From the start, the dohyo vibrated with shoves, grips that seemed definitive, and new faces that didn't back down before the greatest. Is a new sumo dominator beginning to emerge? Only remember this name, Fujinokawa. On the SumoSpirit channel, we show you what happened in the first 6 days of the Kyushu Basho 2025. Let's begin. The Kyushu Basho started with Ura versus Tamawashi. Ura triumphed over Tamawashi in a clash that felt like a test of willpower. Tamawashi went straight for Ura's face, trying to break his rhythm and balance, but the warrior in pink refused to yield. Step by step, Ura pushed forward like a tidal wave, overpowering his opponent and sending him tumbling into the void with a decisive oshidashi. What a battle! Both warriors exchanged merciless slaps that echoed across the arena. First, Kirishima forced Aonishiki back a few steps, then Aonishiki turned, counterattacked, and the fight ignited again. In a brilliant move, Aonishiki grabbed Kirishima's left elbow and pulled him forward, spinning him around until Ozeki's back was exposed. Kirishima hit the clay, helpless, as Aonishiki calmly finished him off with an okuridashi. Precision, patience, and perfect timing, a masterclass in control. Next Ozeki battle? Kotozakura opened with surgical precision, right hand driving into Wakataka Kage's left shoulder, pivoting slightly left. With that firm inside grip, and his left arm wrapping around his rival's right, he launched forward in a flawless yorikiri. A perfect display of dominance and composure. No hesitation, no mercy. Hoshoryu versus Hakuoho. What chaos! Hakuoho unleashed a storm of strikes against the Yokozuna, forcing Hoshoryu backward in a blur of power and desperation. The champion tried to grab Hakuoho's belt and drag him down as he flew out of the ring, a desperate, breathtaking maneuver. The replays showed how razor close it was, but in the end, Hakuoho claimed the win with a Yori Taushi. The Yokozuna didn't take the loss lightly, pride stung deep. A clash of power and instinct. Takayasu lunged in with a shoulder takiai, shifting left to drop Onosato's head, but Onosato stood firm, balanced, and unmoved. Takayasu tried to pull him again, but Onosato's raw strength was unshakable. With a crushing yorikiri, he bulldozed his opponent over the straw bales. A display of brute power, unstoppable and unyielding. Day 2 started. Aonishiki secured a solid overarm grip early on, dictating the rhythm. Though crouched low, he watched and waited, hunting for the right opening. Would he pull or push? When the moment came, he unleashed a furious drive, bulldozing Wakamoto Haru across the ring and out with a Yori Taushi. Relentless, controlled, victorious. Let's continue with Oho versus Wakataka Kage. Oho seized Wakataka Kage's right arm, slid left, and threw him down before his opponent could even react. Wakataka Kage looked lost, struggling to regain footing, but Oho had a plan, and he executed it with deadly precision. Kotenage, a move, a twist, a victory. What a statement. Kotozakura went for a pull, a risky choice. He lost his footing, heels teetering on the tawara. Kirishima saw the opening and charged forward with unstoppable force, finishing the bout with a clean yorikiri. One mistake, and the match was over. Onosato versus Hakuoho. A battle of titans. Hakuoho tried to keep Onosato's right arm at bay, even managing to push him sideways early on. But when he lunged forward with a nodawa, Onosato held firm, immovable as stone. Then came the counter, a powerful grip on the belt, a driving charge, and a crushing Yori Taushi. Unshakable might from the rising star. The day finished with Hoshoryu against Takanosho. The Mongolian needs to win. A second loss would eliminate him from the title. The Yokozuna strikes back. Hoshoryu charged forward with fire in his eyes, overpowering Takanosho and sending him flying out of the dohyo with a dominant oshidashi. His first victory and a warning to all. The champion had awoken. Day 3 started. Tension from the start. Takayasu hated that left-hand belt grip Kotozakura kept reaching for. Every time he broke free, Kotozakura came back for more. Then, a twist. Kotozakura grabbed Takayasu's arm, nearly pulling off a kotenage. But Takayasu recovered, countered, and fought to contain the Ozeki's power. As Kotozakura leaned in again, Takayasu spun counterclockwise, dragging the Ozeki down with a brilliant uchi muso. What a comeback. It's Ukrainian time. Hakuoho charged with Morozashi, pressing Aonishiki back, but then, a flash of genius. Aonishiki wrapped his left arm around Hakuoho's neck and twisted him down in one breathtaking motion. Both fell almost together, too close to call. After a mono-eye review, the verdict stood. Hakuoho's shoulder hit first. Gunbai confirmed. Aonishiki wins by Kubi Nage and now dominates their rivalry 4-0. Total control. A Mongolian battle. The Yokozuna roared back to life. Hoshoryu attacked fast, driving Kirishima back and grabbing his belt with a right-hand uwate. Kirishima balanced desperately, but Hoshoryu shifted, hooked the leg, and powered in close. A final surge, Yorikiri, a pure show of strength and strategy. A brief, brutal encounter. Wakatakakage tried a right strike, but Onosato blocked and countered instantly. As Wakatakakage spun to regroup, Onosato advanced like a freight train, driving him out with a commanding oshidashi. 3 losses in a row for Wakatakakage. Unstoppable force meets immovable wall. Day 4 started with unstoppable Aonishiki. At first, it looked like Aonishiki was done for when Takanosho went after his leg, but the Ukrainian warrior flipped the script. Adopting his rival's own no-dawa tactic, he turned defense into offense, driving forward with an expert oshidashi that sealed his 4th consecutive victory of the tournament. Still undefeated, still unstoppable, who can halt this streak of fury? 0-4 for Takanosho. Very hard to him. Ura versus Oho, 3 letters name battle, both 1-1. Speed met chaos in this bout. Oho unleashed a flurry of tsupari, but Ura slipped to the side with a dancer's grace, cutting the attack short. A heartbeat later, Oho lost his footing, and Ura, ever the opportunist, struck with precision. One well-timed oshidashi and Oho was out of the ring. Quick thinking, quicker victory. Kotozakura read Hakuoho's momentum like a scroll. As the younger Rikishi charged in, Kotozakura shifted right, grabbed the belt, and with masterful control, hurled him onto the straw bales. Using his rival's own force against him, he executed a beautiful uwate dashinage. Pure skill, pure balance, the art of sumo at its finest. A difficult clash for the Mongolian against Onosato. A blink, a clash, and it was over. Kirishima lowered his head and charged forward, but Onosato sidestepped like lightning. With a single sweeping slap, he sent his opponent crashing down in a flawless hatakikomi. A battle decided in seconds, the mark of a sumo giant in the making. Wakatakage 3-0, and now against a Yokozuna, no hesitation, no mercy. Hoshoryu took complete control from the start, driving inside with a powerful right-hand grip and sending Wakatakakage flying over the straw bales with a crushing yorikiri. A clean, commanding victory, the Yokozuna's spirit blazing once again. Day 5 started. Do you remember when I mentioned Fujinokawa in the intro? Yes, because it's 4-0, and now he's facing Kotoshoho. A lightning start. Kotoshoho tried to corner Fujinokawa, pressing him against the straw bales, but Fujinokawa flipped the pressure back in an instant. Finding his timing, he unleashed a fierce tsukidashi, throwing Kotoshoho over the edge. 5 wins, 0 losses. Fujinokawa's aggressive style is proving unstoppable. How long can he keep this fire burning? Aonishiki versus Wakatakakage, 0-4 versus 4-0. Aonishiki charged like a bull, but Wakatakakage had a trick ready. A swift henka to the side left Aonishiki stumbling forward, momentum betraying him. Desperate to recover, he tried to stop his fall, but Wakatakakage finished it with a light push to the back. Okuri Taushi. The undefeated streak ends. Even the strongest fall when timing meets cunning. Hiradumi versus Hoshoryu. The challenger came in fearless, hurling himself at the Yokozuna, but power met wisdom. As Hiradumi charged, Hoshoryu spun gracefully to the side, twisting on his own axis and slapping him down with a clean hatakikomi. One move, one mistake, one lesson learned: never underestimate a champion. Raw force versus control. Wakamoto Haru locked in a left-hand Uwate, but Onosato didn't flinch. He powered forward, pinning his rival to the edge, then twisted sharply. His right arm hooked around Wakamoto Haru's left shoulder and drove him down with a crushing Yori Taoshi. Sheer dominance from start to finish. Ura battles. Ura versus Kotozakura, both 2-2. A flash of motion in the center of the ring. Ura crouched low, coiled tight, and then exploded forward like a spring released. The sudden surge left Kotozakura no room to counter step by step. He was driven back and out with a thunderous Yorikiri. Explosive energy, unstoppable momentum, Ura's sumo is pure spectacle. Atami Fuji, with a solid 4-1, held Ichi Yamamoto firmly in front of him as the latter kept pulling, searching for an opening. Ichi Yamamoto tried slipping left, but the edge of the ring offered no escape. With pressure mounting like a silent avalanche, Atami Fuji drove him straight into the straw bales with a decisive Yorikiri. A clean, powerful finish. How do you stop a wall that keeps moving forward? Yoshino Fuji against Churanumi. Why did we mention Yoshino Fuji? Because of his great 4-1 record. After an initial exchange of fierce tsupari, the match transformed into a gritty Migi Yotsu battle. Yoshino Fuji was the first to secure an overarm grip, and that single advantage became the turning point. Dragging Churanumi across the ring with unstoppable momentum, he forced him out with a commanding Yorikiri. Pure determination carved into motion. Let's continue with the unbeaten Fujinokawa against Mitakeumi. He burst forward with blazing speed, grabbing Mitakeumi with both hands and driving him toward the edge. But right at the scoring area, Mitakeumi tried a clever right leg sweep to turn the tide. Fujinokawa kept his balance and stepped back, and in that brief opening, Mitakeumi struck with a spectacular hatakikomi, sending his opponent to the ground. A reversal as sharp as lightning. It's the time for the Ukrainian against Pink Mawashi. Aonishiki refused to overcommit. Patience became his weapon. He waited, watched, and when the gap appeared, he latched onto Ura's belt with precision. With a surge of unstoppable force, he pushed forward with Yorikiri, driving Ura back step by step. Sometimes victory belongs to the one who waits for the perfect heartbeat. Now the Ozeki against Tamawashi. Kotozakura absorbed Tamawashi's first barrage of strikes, then began advancing like a rising tide. But close to the bales, Tamawashi shifted left, redirecting Kotozakura's blows into his right shoulder and slipping behind him. Suddenly exposed, Kotozakura found himself caught from behind and pushed out with a clean okuridashi. A single turn and the battlefield flipped completely. Hiradumi met the Yokozuna head-on at the takiai, matching him with admirable resolve. While adjusting a left-hand Meimitsu grip, he seemed poised to challenge further, but Onosato regained control in an instant. With overwhelming force, he surged forward and powered Hiradumi down with oshitaushi. One moment of balance lost, one Titan strike delivered. Let's continue with the surprise of the day in the bout: Hoshoryu versus Wakamoto Haru. A flash and the match was decided. At the takiai, Wakamoto Haru leapt left in a swift henka, sending Hoshoryu charging forward into empty space. With calm precision, Wakamoto Haru slapped him down with a clean hatakikomi. A duel finished almost before it began, the kind of move that changes fate in a heartbeat. And that's how the first 6 days of the Kyushu Basho have unfolded. Will the favorites be able to get back on track without stumbles, or will the list of surprises keep growing? In the first 6 days of the tournament, we have only one unbeaten leader, Yokozuna Onosato. Behind him, 6 wrestlers with 5-1 record: the Ukrainian Aonishiki, Atami Fuji, Yoshino Fuji, Toki Hayate, Asakoryu, and Fujinokawa. Tell us which wrestler will be the champion, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the SumoSpirit channel for more content. See you in the next video.